the Royal Air Force's first monoplane fighter, the Hawker Hurricane, the first to carry 8 machine guns, the first to break the 300-mile-per-hour barrier. With its all-metal structure covered with fabric, Hurricanes were built continuously from 1936 to late 1944, with the total production reaching 14,000. This year's air show featured the only one still flying in North America today. Preserving the past is a common bond shared by air show enthusiasts. Each fighter plane has its own unique post-war history.
You can trace the history of these airplanes by the serial number. And this airplane after the war was with the Swedish Air Force, and then it ended up with the Guatemala Air Force, and then it came back to this country. It was a basket case. I found this airplane in a small field called Rebel Field in Texas about 12 years ago. And it went through 2 years of restoration till it is what it is today.
Well, when I first saw the airplane, the wings were sawed off just outboard of the landing gear right here. And the wings then went to El Paso, Texas, and were completely remanufactured. I found it right in Winnipeg, and at that time it still had a couple slug marks in the windscreen. A farmer had it in his backyard, and 3,000 Canadian kids had carved initials into it.
Quite frankly, in terms of the temperature, it's the better of the two. You can be glad you're here because we have this air movement. Here comes the B-25 Mitchell.
Typical mission? Okay, the alarm would go off, such ever it was. Somebody would wake up about 4 in the morning. We get dressed and ready to go on the mission, get something to eat. Briefing was usually about 6:30 or 7, and we'd take off at 8 o'clock, depending where the mission was. And the missions, I'd say, most of the time were supply depots. Sometimes we'd work on little harbors they had out in the islands in Suram and over those places, but mostly big supply depots. And an indication of how long the missions were, I had 43 live combat missions in 540 hours. So it's about a little over 10 hours a mission was what we flew. So we take off at 8 in the morning, we'd be back about 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
A multi-engine-rated pilot was willing to fly in one suit from Dave Palisade from Denver tonight, and pay his way back to Denver. I would suggest that you get over to that airplane.
You're going to be landing.
If there's anybody like that on the field, they're all going to be over there.
Going to leave after one more pass.
I think it'd be a good idea for people to get their cameras on the Mitchell B-25 because he may be dropping his watermelons this time. He is going to do it, so get your camera on him. Here he comes. Watch for the bomb bays to pop open, the watermelons to fly out. There they go. Not bad.
And he's going to take off all the S-2 Tracker. Looks kind of like a whale with wings, doesn't it?
We are ready. Clear, yeah. Clear to go, confirm. You are clear to go, that is confirmed.
Co-pilot. Qualifications to be. We're going to do our watermelon job, are they? 317 to Denver, Colorado this afternoon. And then he's in here with co-pilot. Qualifications to be.